Hey guys, that's Nate over there. All right, hey guys, we're out here today. We are going to flow some major water. The goal here is to see how much we can get out of our large main hydrant on. You see, we got our ladder truck hooked up with our TFT off of 25, as well as our new Ram that is on 1314. So our goal today is to see how much we can get off this single hydrant, flowing our stick, and bouncing into one monitor and the second monitor. We are trying to attempt to max tap our hydrant over here. And with the way we set up now for tagging our hydrants with our 2.5 ball valve on one side to show what kind of water we're going to be getting out of a single 5 and a 3. And later on, we will be trying to hit it with this extra here, 100 foot of 5-inch to see the difference of water flow we can get through this truck. Stand by for further details.
16 pounds, 17 pounds of friction loss.
This one, that's not
for the 2.5.
Yeah, that's 2.5. Okay. So we are in some intense conversations about pressures we're needing at the nozzles now. They got the old Elkhart app figuring some stuff out. So we'll stand by here and we'll get a good explanation of exactly what the accomplishment is of today. So hang out.
All right, so we're on location out here at the end of Fenton Logistics. We're going to look for flowing big water. So about 2,500 gallons a minute is our target flow. What we got set up is we're going to flow the aerial with our first tip on there, which is a 2-inch tip. Target flow on that is roughly 1,000 to 1,200 gallons a minute out of the first tip on the aerial device. Once we get that up and running and flowing, we're going to add a monitor. So we have our new Elkhart Ram monitor on the ground. That's 500 GPMs of flow out of that, which the Elkhart Ram monitor is on the new 1314. And then once we get that up and established, we're going to add the second Blitz Force ground monitor, which is on 1325. What we've done with our hydrant is if we have good flow and still we have adequate static pressure, after we get those two devices in service, we're going to add the 2.5. We double tapped our hydrant like what we would do at a commercial fire. So we have 5-inch coming off the steamer, then we have 3-inch coming off the 2.5-inch connection, which is off of the ball valve. So we'll double tap the hydrant with 5 and 3-inch. We'll see what kind of flow and pressure we have after that. And then another theory that we're going to try out is we're going to double tap the hydrant with 2 5-inch sections and see what kind of flow we can get off this hydrant. Again, our target flow is about 2,500 gallons a minute, simulating a big commercial fire, big water flow for a large commercial building.
You gonna be on the next side of it?
With what? So initially with our hydrant here, we're hitting 146 PSI off of our hydrant. And we will see how much we have left over off this 12-inch main.
I'm not being
Ryan,
involved.
what are you expecting to see out here today?
I'm not being involved.
Come on. Tell me
Big
what-
water.
Big water?
Big water.
Big water. Big water.
Lots of calculations.
Who's gonna do the calculations?
Huh? Not me. I don't do math in
Is
public.
Tism boy over there gonna
Yeah,
knock our top?
Tism. Sean Tism.
Contact Central County by phone.
Look at him learning, studying. He's in his zone.
Once he figures out how many hoses we have on the ground, we're probably good to go.
Probably.
He's got to count to about 10, though.
He's got to take his shoes off for that.
17.
Yeah.
I think to me, it's too big of a tip size. Only 950. 950. That's 1,000 there. What's up with it?
So at 1,000 gallons per minute coming out of our, getting out of our tip out here, we're hitting 1,000 gallons per minute out of our tip. We've had went from 134 PSI at the hydrant to 128 residual.
Hey, we are charging there.
Charging the RAM.
5538 already there.
Who's charging?
Hey, check your tip. I think it got on top of that bag.
It's still so there's a 1,500 plug. Is that what we're showing? He doesn't show that.
So you still have an intake pressure of 120. What's flowing 1,500. 70. That should be a 500 flow off that one ramp.
You want to add this 3-inch?
Yep.
You want to add it?
All right, you guys. I'm gonna charge it. So
You want to add your supply?
let's see where we can get just off one. I haven't looked at it, but my intake is 120. All right, hey, I'm gonna charge. Hey Ryan, what's this one off of?
Auxiliary intake?
No. Driver side front?
Auxiliary intake?
No. Driver side front.
Who's charging?
Said cavitation warning, but it's just so much. Because my intake, because we are now at 2,000 gallons, my intake is still 100. Yeah.
It says it'll give us a 3,500 GPM fire flow.
It's still stiff. Still, I mean, my intake's 101.
I think we had the 2.5.
Yeah, because we're not flowing that much off of the area in the grand scheme of things. Where I can go
We can still
up.
drop that tip a little bit more.
Yeah.
Let's see what we get here. I think this is probably going to tax that single 5-inch line.
You good? What's that off of?
Anybody catch this? We're now currently flowing 2,000 gallons per minute off this hydrant on a single 5-inch line only section. About to add 2.5 tap on it. Still have
I'm still at 80.
mid 80s to 90 psi at the hydrant. Single 5-inch line supplying. Did you say 1,800, Sean? Sean, 1,800 gallons per minute?
What's that?
1,800?
1,000. What's this? To 2,300.
2,300 gallons.
2,300.
2,300 if we got a 500 gallon. You can have to reposition for a better grab.
And see how much pressure increase we get. And we already made the 5-inch, so we can do the same. Or we can just be done with the
and see our pressure intake increase on our truck.
Yeah. Yeah. But it didn't. I just see intake on here.
That's okay. I was just curious because, like, you heard the workload of the truck change.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you can hear it. It was high 90, so you gain roughly 10 psi off that.
Be ready?
Yeah.
I wonder if somewhere in the manual says you can find how much it's pumping.
So realistically, by adding,
Yeah, that was one of the truck itself has some.
so Nate, by adding that 3-inch line, you really didn't add any available pressure. Now there's going to be additional value,
Yeah.
but you're not getting any more pressure.
The first one you got. Well, I guess.
See, we're bumping it up to 175.
I wonder if it's partly because the truck is has to adjust for everything.
Yeah.
And I can slow stuff down. Like that, it's not like a true measure. I mean, it is initially, but like when you start flowing.
It's still not getting. It's set at 175. It's not.
Say what's the right. I guess that.
There it goes. Intake still. What's that? I still got 91 intake.
But only added 3-inch.
It did, yeah. The effect by adding.
So as we have these flowing, we're flowing something around 2,500 gallons per minute. We got 1,200 gallons per minute out of the tip of the aerial, 500 out of each one of these monitors, and our 2.5 over here is set up for 300 gallons per minute. Our big discussion we're having now is we have a 1750 pump on our truck with the SAM system. And system, it maxes out at 1,900 gallons per minute with how much residual flow you have left. What we're wondering is if we lost stream shape in these devices, which it seems like we lost a little, but not significantly. Remember, we still have the 5-inch off the steamer cap of the hydrant, as well as a 3-inch off a 2.5 quart on this hydrant as well. So we're remaining with our PSI where we have around 85 to 90 PSI left at the hydrant of pressure, but we've gained a lot more volume with this 2.5 going in. This added flow, it allows us to gain more out of this hydrant and get more than what the PSI says in a flow test. We've looked into these hydrants at the station and through our paperwork where we found out that this hydrant is supposedly capable of flowing 3,500 gallons per minute. And at 35 gallons per minute, what we want to see is how taxing the system does and how much of the PSI loss we have in this system as we go. So I've walked away just for a brief second to check our CAD, and it looks like they have added a 5-inch, a second 5-inch instead of the 3 and 5. So now we're going to check the volume through these 2 5-inches of what's happening in the hydrant with 2 5-inches versus having that 3 and that 5.
When you add a 5-inch, you're back up to 110.
Which was another 20 PSI
Yes.
residual. So adding that second 5-inch on that hydrant instead of the 3 and a 5 adds 20 PSI
Yes.
for that extra 2 inches. That section will be our first.
So now,
Say what it was before, right? I mean, you gained almost an extra 10 psi. It was about 86. It was like in between 86 and 90. So you almost gained 10 psi. But the extra, well, the hard part is what's that extra available water?
Yeah, that I just really don't know.
So what's happening now is instead of it forcing it from a big line and a little line, they're sharing these loads more equal.
All right, let's shut this down and take this out because that thing's
It's long. I can't remember what the pump initial numbers.
146.
So 140.
On 12-inch main. This is rated at 3,500 GPM
Okay.
hydrant for what we have.
Okay.
Nice.
I gotta walk.
We got our TISM minute. You got to walk?
I know, I gotta walk.
Okay, come
That's,
over here. We'll go over here so I can get a little bit of the truck. You're being recorded right now.
That's
so.
fine. I gotta walk and
All
see.
right, let's break this down, man.
All right, so we started with the aerial, and we're flowing roughly about 13 to 1,600, depending on playing with pressure, off a single 5-inch line. From there, we built up to, we did the RAM monitor first. We pumped that at 70, which theoretically should have been giving us 500. We then opened the second monitor, and that we pumped at 120. That's a 100 PSI fog tip on there. That's why. That should have given us 500 as well. And then from there, we also put 100 feet of 2.5, and we pumped that at 70 to give us the 300 for that. So from there, that gave us our intake pressure of roughly about 85 to 90 whenever it was bouncing. So then we brought in a 3-inch line to see if our intake would increase in case we wanted to flow more water. We gained maybe 3 PSI on it. So then from there, we added a 5-inch line to show dual 5-inch off of the hydrant, and that gave us an extra 10 PSI of available water. So at this point, like, we have all the water in the world, we need another truck to flow more water. The hydrant itself says 3,500, which would be no problem on this hydrant.
That's every hydrant in this line, right?
Yes.
So we have a warehouse fire in the industrial park up in this line, our old Chrysler plant. 3,500 each hydrant. We're not sure whether or not we'd lose anything tapping another hydrant in this dead end line, but we should have plenty of flow for one of these fires. What else you got, Ross? Anything else? Just playing with the truck and learning?
Yeah, just learn.
What size tip did you have on the aerial?
So it's a 2-inch tip. So we play with it as low as 120, and then at max, I can't remember what we were getting. We were getting like 1650.
I think 1700 was one point through the tip.
Okay, so that was pumped at 185 to get that. Our RPMs on the truck never went above 1350. So the truck was never screaming by any means doing any of it.
So essentially, even with that 85 to 100 PSI, with whatever hose package we had on that hydrant, we still had more water to give.
Oh, absolutely.
We could have ramped the RPMs up on the truck to gain more water out of what we can by over pumping our line. So we could have easily added another attack line or another 2.5.
Oh, you could have got probably 2 more 2.5s, or you could have spent a tip off on. Okay.